All right, everyone. You know, tonight here in Colombia, there in the United States, we want to have a core focus tonight. So we want to work with you on a challenge that anyone and everyone can do. So normally we do a lot of chit-chatting and all that stuff, but I want everybody to be focused because the temptation is going to be to come in and say, hello, good to see you, good to see you. You guys, I really want you to calm that down because everybody deserves a chance to be successful here, not just the ones that are already being successful. Would you agree, Dwayne?
Yes.
So, with that being said, we're going to talk to you tonight about two things. Number one, an IC official challenge that we're going to bring to your plate. A challenge that will be, it will have little requirements, but give you great results if you're aggressive. If, in fact, you really are not that aggressive, you're new to all this stuff, we're going to give you what we call the 6-month challenge. But still, the great thing is by the end of the year, you'll be making more than you ever did in your entire life. So, first thing I'm going to do, before I go any further, I'm going to talk about two different numbers. First of all, how many of you right now, have already sponsored, have a minimum of 4 people in Smart Order? Type in the number 1. I'm going to show you the significance here.
Good question.
And then, while you're answering that, how many of you could do it again if you had to over the next 3 months? That's the second question. Type in number 2 if you can do it again if you already have 4, right? And if you already have 4, you can do it again. Type in the number 2. If you already have 4, type in the number 1. That way we know what each number means. Don't worry if you don't have anything. None of that matters. What's going to matter now is making sure that we have a good concept down that each of you could participate in that will pay you a fortune. Now, I had a thing I was looking up just now to calculate for you. That is, what was I calculating? Oh, I hate when I do that. I just opened up my calculator for something, Dwayne. I was going to show them before we start this, but it may not be relevant now that I forgot. Darn it, I hate when I do. Hey, you'll be 51. Stop laughing at me, right?
You were saying something about 4 people. That's what I remember.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Thank you. Thank you very much. What I want to do is see what this number, I'm going to see something, times 12. Here's what I wanted to see. So this is going to mess people up when I show them this. We'll show them about the challenge. The question I'm going to ask is, how many of you, your life would be completely different, so much that you will be free to live as you're created, you'll be free to live on purpose, decide what to do based on what's best, not based on what you afford. If you could earn up to $450,000 or so a year, I'm not talking about a month, I'm talking about a year. How many of you could do that would change your life as you know it? I'm not going to spread pie in the sky. I'm just talking about what's possible, and then we're going to get with the challenge. Oh, yeah, it would. Fantastic. Then this is the right place to be. If you haven't yet, you might want to run. Get your people on this webinar because we're going to show you how you can do it with our challenge. Even if you never sponsor anyone to the boards, even if you never even joined the President's Circle, no matter what your story is, you can create the kind of wealth that will give you freedom to live on purpose. So all that to say this, Dwayne, I think it's okay. You okay for me to go out and get started? We can just get going?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I just wanted to remind everybody that what you're saying is right. What's possible if you can just implement and you decide to take on this challenge. It doesn't matter if you're brand new in this company. If you've been in it for a couple of years, everybody gets to start this challenge from the same place. So there's no relevance whether you have experience, don't have experience. You have an opportunity to participate in this challenge and see what it means to earn a significant amount of income online. So yeah, show them how it's done. But I just want everybody to know that, because some people, if they're brand new or not that tech savvy, get a little intimidated. I want them to know that this is not just for technical people.
Good point, Dwayne Jr. I guess a good place to go with this is, guess what? Just going to lay some things out on the table, make it easy for them. If you're tech savvy or not, if you're not recruit savvy, if you couldn't recruit 5 aunts and 2 uncles to your last couple of businesses, doesn't matter, because we're going to talk about something that anyone can do. Doesn't matter if you're going to be over 80 years of age or over 18, or if in fact you've been married and divorced 4 times. What matters now is what you do with what we give you right now. So let's go ahead and take a look. Thanks, Dwayne Jr., because I don't want to forget that. So going out, we like to start with the income estimator because it's the right place to be. Now, what we're going to talk about is a 90-day challenge first. This is for those of you who are aggressive. Can you see my screen, Dwayne Jr.?
Yep, looks good too.
Fantastic. For those of you who are semi-aggressive, okay, let's say it takes 45 days for you to get 4 people to be on the e-commerce level of business where they're just using our products for $25 a month. And during that 45 days, you work hard with those 4, and you help them through your trainings and things we're going to show you in the next step in this webinar series. You're going to be able to help them. And then we teach the 3rd level. We work with just the 5 levels. In 45 days, you're going to already be making $1,396 a month, which puts you roughly at about $15,000 a year. Okay? So that being said, don't look up. I'm just talking about that's the first 45 days. Now, what you have to understand is, for those people who have not been in the industry and done things before, we're breaking it down like this so that anyone can do what we're about to show you. 45 days. On average, Wayne, that's what, about 7 days for each level, right? Roughly, an average of 7 days. Now to take it, that's about 35 days. We decided to add a few more days in so that anyone over 45 days, if you put the time in, I'm so crazy, Dwayne Jr., I would take my vacation time, my time off. I'll take whatever it takes to do this if, in fact, someone gave me such a challenge. So what we're talking about now is if you're not on any of the boards, if you're not in the President's Circle, watch what you can do in 90 days. In the first half of your 90 days, you can be at $1,300 a month and you only paid in $25 a month.
And because the goal is so simple and so clear, bring 4 people in. Then you just teach people to do that exact same strategy. It's nothing new, but it's worked in MLM for years and years and years now. If your team knows what their goal is, hey, my first 2 weeks, I need to find 4 people, they're that much more likely to get it if they have a common goal the whole team is shooting for. So if you take your first 2 weeks, and some of you guys will get in less than that, and get your 4 people, your responsibility is then to make sure that those 4 people get their 4. And as you know, we host webinars, just like this one you're on, to help them, get those extra 4 people. We're going to, join hands with you and continue to train you guys and your team members, but following this strategy just by simply getting 4 people and then teaching them how to get their 4, and then duplicating this process the whole way down. You guys are going to see what happened at the end of this 90-day challenge, but first, look what happens here in just the first 5 weeks.
But let's go a little further, Dwayne Jr. Here's something that's crazy. To keep them engaged and encouraged, when they get their first 4, guess what? They're going to receive an award from us. Yeah. Wouldn't it be something if you, their upline, could honor them and send out a notification congratulating them for getting their 4? Their certificate would already be placed in their back office when they get it. But it gets better. They also start, as they build through different levels, once they get to the 3rd level or higher in 4s, they start to get bonus money aside from this $1,396. So we already have things in place. And don't worry on those things I just mentioned, because we're going to cover that in tomorrow night's webinar in how to train your team. But the important thing is now understand the challenge, and the first 45 days, it's based on simplicity. Some of you are going to try and go crazy because you can't be focused. You're going to go get 10. As long as you stay within this realm, you can get 10. The point is a minimum of 4. Okay? When you do this, in the first 45 days, you're at $1,396 a month, and that's more than most people around the world make it in their country per month. That's where you'll be off of paying $25 in.
So, just to summarize, before we keep going, I want to make sure that
45 days. Go ahead.
I was going to say, just correct me if I'm wrong. So you're saying in each level, first level, sign up 4 people and then teach them to get 4. And when it goes to level 2, level 3, level 4, you're saying spend 1 week on each level to duplicate. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right.
And then at the end, if you're still not there, you got an extra, what, 5 days, is it?
10 days, an extra 10 days.
You got an extra 10 days for anybody who fell behind, so you guys can encourage them and help them get their extra people. That adds up to 45 days when you add the 10 at the end. So levels 1 through 5 take 1 week on each one to make sure everybody gets their first 4. So if that means you got to do webinar blitzes, email blasts, whatever it takes, you push your team towards the goal. And sometimes as a sponsor, if you could take it upon yourself, to help certain people out if you're that much of a go-getter.
Yes, in fact, what is interesting, Dwayne Jr., look at how many people already have 4. Then when I ask the question, it's not like tough.
So true.
The reality is you just have to learn how to duplicate in others what you're able to do.
So if you guys already understand what we're talking about, go ahead, type in a number 1. Everybody understands this concept and we're clear and we can move on to the next 45 days. Go ahead and type in that number 1.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. By the way, we do see you guys' chats and stuff right now and the questions and stuff, but right now we want you guys to focus. Let's not get too wrapped up in side conversations just because this is that important. Because once you guys see what happens at the end of these 90 days, you'll get why we're telling you to focus.
So, in keeping it simple, don't get lost, because the beauty is about to show. If once you realize, wait, I have my 4, I got way more than 4, you start realizing what happens if you follow this model and stay consistent. Here's a beautiful thing. After the first 45 days, you've done this. You don't rest. You build this thing the way you want it to work. Now, you go back and do it again. Now you're going to add 4 more, right? Then you're going to work with those 4 over the next 45 days, right? You're going to make sure the next 45 days, everyone has 8. This is for the aggressive people. Then you're at 37.5 a month, 37,544 a month. Some of you have never seen this much in a year. But what you're going to find out is by keeping it simple. We're not talking about stuff that's challenging, but I don't understand how a matrix works. Doesn't matter. We're adding enough stuff to the smart order to make it easier for you. We're adding enough stuff to the e-commerce level. So doing this, we're making it easy for you. Now, what's interesting right now, it's possible. We're talking about 90 days. That's 3 months time to get here. What happens once you have 8 people through 5 levels for an entire year? What does that mean to you? It means that you will then be at 37,500. I mean, that means you'll be at over $450,000 a month for the year. Per year. Now, Dwayne Jr., we've done a lot of business. You got to admit, no company is ever giving us such a plan.
No, you're totally right. And I want to make sure that everybody, didn't miss the second half of the plan. Because obviously you guys see the number there. It's pretty hefty. That $37,000 a month, that's residual income if you follow the second step for the next 45 days. First 45 days you get you get 5 levels down. So you teach 4 people how to get their 4. Then at the end of that 45 days, you can put them back at 8. At the end of the first 45 days, you then go back and you sponsor another set of 4 people, which adds up to 8. And then you teach the people you sponsored to get another 4, and then another 4, another 4 the whole time. So basically, you repeat the process during the second 45 days. Did that make that sound? I may have made that sound a little bit more confusing. Maybe you want to try explaining it again, because I talk fast.
Yeah, so we both talk fast, but here's the cool thing. Everyone here, we want you to understand one thing. Most of you, because you grew up wherever you grew up in the western part of the world in many cases, whether it's North or South America or Europe, and it's easy to get a whole bunch of ideas when you've been given a simple formula. So you'll break from the formula, you'll deviate from what we're telling you, and you will wonder why you don't have the same results. So we're going to walk through it one more time so you can have time to work on it yourself, because this income estimator is in your back office. You can find it and do it. But we want you to understand it, because what we're going to do tomorrow night is we're going to train you on how to create this duplication within those 5 levels. So here I'm going to walk you through that part again. And just remember, it's all about not deviating from what we're telling you. Because like I said earlier, I've done a lot of MLM building and brought in thousands of people through many, many levels. No company has ever given me the ability from only sponsoring 8 people through 5 levels to earn so much money. It was for so little investment. So we're going to walk through it again. In the first 45 days, let's just say week 1 goes by, it takes you a whole 7 days to get your 4, right? Do it. Second week, 4 people. All those 4 get their 4, right? Then another week to work with them and everyone getting their 4. Having a set of training steps to help people get their 4 is powerful. But we're going to be able to show you how we do it tomorrow night in our webinar. By the end of the 35 days, you should already have 1396. But if not, stretch it out another 10 days. That'll be 45 days that you can work on it. Now, think about this. There's no limit. It might take you 6 months, but right now we're talking about the 90-day challenge. We want you to work towards this because it is possible if you follow the formula, follow the steps, so you can complete the challenge. Now.
Yep. So this is the first 45 days, guys.
Part 1.
Yep. This is part 1. There's 2 parts to this 90-day challenge. The first part is the first 45 days. The second part is the second 45 days. Now, I just want to reiterate how simple this formula is. It's just getting 4 sign-ups your first week, and then teaching those 4 to get 4, and then having those 4 teach their 4, and then so on and so on down to the 5th level. If everybody follows the same formula, your whole team has that same clear goal. Watch what happens in the second 45 days.
Shall I take them for a walk down the second half?
Yes.
Second half. You're not going to create rocket science and try to do like many of you done and recruit hundreds of people. Nope. We're going to keep it simple so that you and your team members can be successful. So watch this. Instead of going out for a bunch more people, you're going to get 4 more. What's 4 plus 4, Dwayne?
8.
Beautiful. And then this next level, they're going to get 4 more also, which equals
8.
And then this next level, they're just going to get 4 more. Everybody's going to add 4 more over the next 45 days.
8.
And you get to watch what happens to your monthly income. And what happens to this monthly income, it doesn't come once a month. Every day, you're going to be making hundreds or actually over $1,000 a day just on the residual. That's how powerful this thing is. That's the power of this, because we don't wait once a month. The minute someone pays their $25, we start distributing the money to your e-wallet right within itself. So here's the deal. We don't want to keep you long tonight. We want to challenge you. So I'm going to challenge you right now that I'm going to switch the window back because we need to look at them when I say this. You can check the here we go. Here we go. So here's the challenge. The challenge is, if in fact your mind is running everywhere all the time, discipline yourself to stay focused. Do not let time pass where you don't have your 4. And as soon as you get them, begin to work with them. Email with them. Talk to them on the phone. Get into Skype. Get into your Facebook. Work with them to get their 4. Then you're not done yet. You don't satisfy all of your group right now that you have. You're going to actually now train them, maybe create your own webinars or bring them to our webinars where they can or send out the links through your Magic Responder to help them to get their 4. And we're not even talking about boards. We're talking about $25, where much of the world that smokes cigarettes spends more than that on their cigarettes. We're talking about it's cheaper than filling your gas every month to be set up on this deal. So, let's continue. You're not going to rest. You're going to work with your group so that everyone has a place. So imagine this, Dwayne Jr. One of these guys really got what we were saying. So anytime anyone comes into their group, they were automatically sent an email with step 1, right? Where they got their products now. They know where to invite people so that their people can get their 4 relatively quickly. And this thing should go on for 90 days to put you at $37,500 a month and put you over $400,000 a year, and you have that locked. And you know what's crazy, Dwayne Jr.? I don't want to scare them and let them go and get too far, but now, when that time passes, they can go get 4 more and keep growing the thing. But we want to keep it simple and put you on the 90-day challenge.
Yep.
And then, of course, you'll be ready for more.
Yeah, and yeah, we don't want to. We're going to be straight up with you guys. We're not telling you it's easy, but we're going to give you guys the tools and the training necessary to make this happen. In fact, we have one coming, a webinar tomorrow night. You guys aren't going to want to miss. It's a follow-up training to this, to teach you guys how you can get that level of duplication. So if you want to be able to duplicate, if you want to know how to train your people without necessarily training, using webinars and stuff like that, make sure you're on tomorrow's webinar, because it's going to be knockout, drag out, crazy, awesome once you guys can grasp it.
Absolutely. Now, I told you all there's 2 pieces. Some of you are extremely aggressive, and you're going to want to go with the 90-day challenge, right? How many of you right now, you're not intimidated, you think you could run with the 90-day challenge? Type in the number 90 so we know. Fantastic. Now, don't feel intimidated for those of you who aren't sure. You're like, this is a lot to take in, because now we're going to present to you what we call the 6-month challenge, okay? You have 6 months. It's the same principle, except you have more time. I don't recommend it, because in the nature of the way the world operates, things that grow faster have more strength. Things that grow slowly, unfortunately, dissipate, and it doesn't have as much strength. So we want to give you this option because it can work. So take a walk with me again. We're going to go back out and look at this idea of the 6-month challenge. Let's just go ahead and change the language, keep the same numbers, and now we're going to look at what happens in your first 90 days. In your first 90 days, you can have up to 2 weeks to get 4 people. On the e-commerce level of business, that's not flipping matrices. That is not a President's Circle, card bonus. That is not affiliate levels. That's nothing but paying $25 a month for those products. And you do this. Over the next 2 weeks, you help them to get their 4. And over the next, the same thing keeps happening, because everyone's learning to teach how to do what they've done. And now, in 90 days, you're making $1,396 a month, more than most of our world makes a month. Granted, if you live in North America and Europe, your income might be higher, but rarely is it higher than that anywhere else in the world. Let's look further. It can get so much better. That's the first 90 days. You've already seen it on the 90-day challenge. We're going to go to step 2. Now, step 2 is the same as the first, except you're going to do it over again. Now, you're going to just go ahead and add. You're going to get additional 4 people for your business, and that will come up to how many people, Dwayne? 8. Then we do that same math again, 4 more again, and watch what happens at the end of 6 months. You're back to $37,544 a month.
All you did, only difference is between the 90-day challenge and the 6-month challenge is you give yourself double amount of time, because we realize some of you guys may not be as confident with trying a 90-day challenge, but maybe you'd be more interested in trying the 6-month challenge. And obviously, with math, you can also make it a 12-month challenge if that's what you want to do, giving yourself, a full month to complete each level.
Here's a question for you guys, and Dwayne, you tell me if I'm off base, but I'm thinking that I want to ask this question: how many of you guys have done this and more and didn't make that much a month in other companies?
Wow, true.
That's a good question, because I'm raising my hand. Mm-hmm. I've done way more, right? I've done a lot more than those numbers and had to pay in more money. There was no $25. I've never been with a company that costs $25 a month, ever. Never had that privilege. I have no idea what that's like. Have you?
No.
Never have. But to have $25 a month and you're going to give me a strong residual, see, the companies I've been with, they call that number, that $25, they call that admin fees, right? But we're done. We're sharing that with you so that you have your own admin fee. And now the power is this. Taking something simple, not deviating, running with it so that you can have the success. And I know by looking at the numbers you guys are putting on the page yourself that you can do this, whether it's 90-day challenge, 60-day challenge, 6-month challenge, 1-year challenge. You can find your way. I just recommend that you remember nature moves in a way that things happen better and more consistently if you don't allow too much time to lapse. But we'll talk about that in the training we're going to do for you tomorrow night. Right now, we want to encourage you to get going. Draw your teams together. Pull them together and tell them about the challenge. We're going to have this replay available so they can see it, and you'll be able to get it out to them. The replay will be on the site tonight on our homepage or under the webinar section under On Demand. Get your team to see it, and then get them to the webinar tomorrow night because it's time. The year's just beginning. The time to implement stuff is now. This is Dwayne Golden Sr. and
Dwayne Golden Jr.
We wish you guys all the best. We know you can do it, so let's just get this thing done. Peace.